Hey everybody, this is Christopher Green. You're watching Greenwave TV, alternative media television. It is April 15th, 2013. It's approximately 3:30 Arizona time. I am pretty much virtually live streaming and then uploading this content as the news breaks. Of course, if you haven't heard already, Boston Marathon Massacre. 2 bombs explode at the end of the race, at the end of the Boston Marathon. Initial reports said there was 3 killed, dozens wounded. That has now jumped to dozens killed, murdered rather. This is just an absolute tragedy. I do not want to take away from the gravity of those affected. Please support them. Pray for Boston. Send them your help in any way that you can. I did want to report, however, on the latest development. Of course, this is all over Drudge Report. You can see this here. I'm scrolling down the screen. You can see just the deadly shock and awe, shocking images. But this just broke. This is from the New York Post. This really upsets me. This honestly brings tears to my eyes. Authorities ID suspect is a Saudi national in marathon bombings under guard at Boston Hospital. Now, my initial video, that was my initial take. That was literally what I just uploaded a few minutes ago. Let me show you that video if you haven't watched it yet, titled Boston Marathon Massacre Domestic Terror, ? I had literally responded to the event as it happened. And so now I'm starting to dig into the reports. I initially reported that it was my instinct, it was my gut, that this would somehow be linked to domestic terrorism. This would somehow be linked. It could be Al-Qaeda. It could be that form of terrorism, that were propagandized, September 11th, etc. But somehow I've had a gut reaction to this, that this will be linked back to the Patriot movement, to the Tea Party, to constitutionalists, to the freedom movement in some way. Now, the initial report that just broke, authorities have ID'd a Saudi national. It says here investigators have a suspect, a Saudi Arabian national, in the horrific Boston Marathon bombings. This is from the Post. Law enforcement sources said the 20-year-old suspect was under guard in an undisclosed Boston hospital. Now notice how young this person is. Notice he's in his 20s. He is male, according to the reports that I have read. This goes back to all the other shootings and massacres and scapegoated events that we've just recently been through and suffered through. Whether or not this was the Batman massacre and that crazy killer, whether or not that was Jared Loughner in Tucson a few years ago, or it was even the more recent Sandy Hook shooting, any of these events, any of these psychotropic young men out of their minds, hopped up on drugs, murdering innocent civilians, killing innocent people. Now they have taken some kind of event that's just supposed to be a fun event for people, and civilians are being murdered now. Now again, I think this all links back to the Patriot movement, or this is how they're going to propagandize it. They're going to link it back to the freedom movement, constitutionalists. Something just doesn't smell right here. So what's more important to me about this development, outside of the fact that they say the authorities have ID'd a Saudi national, is, well, then who is this Saudi national? How is he connected? Where is he connected? What are his political leanings? What are his political motivations? How is the mainstream media, President Barack Obama, DHS, Janet Napolitano going to spin this in the light that, again, this political agenda is about confiscation? You can't have guns. You can't even have raw materials now. What are they going to do? Ban fertilizer? Because we have these Oklahoma-style city bombings on a regular basis? So again, this is about creating a 1984 George Orwell, Orwellian police state, Google Glass, turn in your neighbor on any suspicion. You can't be trusted. They've got to lock down America. They've got to lock down every major city. And it's all about taking away your freedom. So again, watch and learn, America. Watch and learn how this is propagandized, pitched, positioned, and manufactured through the mainstream media and through the president. Now, President Barack Obama, of course, was alerted to this earlier today. He'll be giving some kind of statement if he hasn't already done that. Watch and see what he says. It'll tell you what the agenda is. Watch and pay attention and listen to people like Mayor Bloomberg. Listen and see how these politicians are able to craft their pitch to the American public, because again, the political objective has and always has been confiscations of weapons, the end of the Second Amendment, your ability to defend yourself, etc. Now we have the latest shock and awe blast, a literal bomb, a literal terrorist activity. But I don't see this as necessarily terrorism coming from Al-Qaeda. I don't see this terrorism. That's laughable. I don't see this as terrorism necessarily coming from some foreign terrorist group. So I would be very suspicious on who the mainstream media is immediately saying they've gotten the suspect. Notice how they find these suspects. They found this guy in 2 hours. 2 hours they find this guy. That's how quickly they are to the scene. So a lot of questions are raised here. I'll be reporting on this story in more detail as it develops. But please send me any information you have, any content. You can hit us up on our tip line, tips@amtvmedia.com. If you have any special information, reports, things that you think we need to be aware of as we're digesting and reporting on this tragedy. Again, I do not want to take away from the victims in any way or marginalize this tragedy or the pain that their friends and family and the victims must be going through at this given moment in time. But this is about asking questions. This is about searching out and being prudent and finding the truth at no matter what the cost. Again, a shock and awe event after shock and awe event results in gun confiscation and the end of your freedom. The end of the Second Amendment. The end of your ability, your friend's ability, and America's ability to defend themselves from an authoritarian, oppressive, centralized government. This is all about control and this is all about power. Please get this out all over the internet. Embed it in every major media website you can think of. Tweet it, Facebook it, subscribe to our channel, and get it out to the viewing public. I'm Christopher Green, hard-hitting and in your face.